Woo! What is going on, family, fellow crawlers, scalers, rock crawlers? When I say scalers, I'm talking about like scale rock crawling. My bashers, right, that are out there. My Lolo guys as well, man. Much love to you guys. It's another Wednesday, and around here it means only one thing. That's right. It's Redcat Live Time. So, what's on the chopping block today, right? Everyone wants to know. Are we going to do the norm? Are we going to do another 64 covering? No, we're not. We're going to switch it up a little bit. Well, we're always switching it up. We're trying to. We're trying to give you guys a lot more fun within the realms of what we have and what we can do. So, as I mentioned in previous shows, sometimes I kind of tend to change a few things depending on what we have going on or what we have in stock at the moment. Why does the landslide rear wheels come pinch-a-toed? My dude, that is part of toe in. You want to toe in for maximum traction. So it's a long going RC trick, especially for off-roaders and dirt runners. It just allows the rear tires to bite more. So back to where I was at. We're going to be going over some pretty cool stuff today. I'm actually going to spend the next hour replacing live the plastic housings that come factory on the Gen 8 with these aluminum Treal RC housings. For a lot of you guys that own a Gen 8 and want to start upgrading it, one of the crucial things that you can ever do is to add more weight to the lower parts of the vehicle. A lot of people use weights in their wheels. In my opinion, rotating mass is probably not always the best way to go. I've done it tons of times, but the best way, in my opinion, is to add a lower center of gravity by adding weight on the axles themselves or to the axles themselves. So the aluminum housings will be a little bit more heavier than the plastic ones. On top of that, they'll be more beefier and be able to take on a lot more of a beating in the long run. Gen 9, no, nothing on the Gen 9 at this time. No talks about it either, but yeah, you never know. Stay tuned. There's a lot of cool stuff that we are working on, and who knows, it might include something like that. Might not. Man, much love, Jesse. What's going on, brother, man? Ted Williams, Eric Saseno, what's up, brother? Kevin Simpson, Hayden Bird, what's up, brothers, man? Thank you guys for showing up today. So, again, Gen 8, great platform out of the box. If you guys don't have one of these bad boys or know much about it, the Gen 8 comes from the factory with portal axles. What are portal axles? Portal axles actually lower the actual positioning of where the wheel actually fixes to the axle. So the shafts come out and they have a gear system that allows the mounting point of the wheel to drop down some more, which you guys can see here, giving you guys more clearance. For a lot of other manufacturers, that's not something that comes factory. That is something that you have to actually modify and do, or buy a real expensive set of axles by said companies to accomplish that. Here at Redcat Racing, we're really proud of the Gen 8. It is a design from in-house that we did. It's not a repurposed, rebranded product. It's something that we take a lot of pride because we put a lot into it over the years. So with that said, the portal axles, more ground clearance for you, especially when crawling and having a good time. RC Patina guy, what's up, brother, man? So the steer knuckles, man, even I'm waiting for them. We're hoping anytime soon. We're waiting on a big order from Treal at this time to hopefully replenish a lot of those things. But we do have in stock are these axle housings, which we'll be going over, replacing them here today in a bit. Good question, Dwayne. The MT8E, at this time, no. If anything shows discontinued, there's probably odds are not going to come back. So whatever we have in stock, running, or even if it shows out of stock, it will be available again as soon as inventory replenishes. If it is discontinued, we usually remove that product from the website, but we still offer the parts as long as we have them, so to speak, in the long term. Thank you, Hayden. I agree, man. To be honest with you, before I worked here at Redcat, I'll be 100% transparent with you guys. I had not used a Gen 8 much. I had a Gen 7. I did have an Everest as well over the years. I modified an Everest and put a hard body on it many years ago and had a good time with it. But the Gen 8 has really impressed me over the years. It's really done a good job. Great crawlability, in my opinion, great stability. The clearance is great. If I were to do anything, it might just be some of the things that we're going to highlight here today, like the axle housings, or some of the stuff that we highlighted in a previous live feed where we replaced the Treal diff covers, the ones that came, the aluminum ones, with the Treal brass ones to add even more lower center of gravity. I love the wheels and tires, but if you're anything like me, that has to be changed right away. I like changing it up quite a bit. I love the Scout body that it comes with. It's a really cool body. I'm a hard body person, so whatever I get, I have to modify and do it my way, to my liking. So you find your niche. The one thing about crawling that I love is the atmosphere that you surround yourself with. It's the atmosphere of nobody gets left behind. You're out crawling, someone breaks down. Usually it's like, bro, you break down, you need tools? I got you. What do you need? You need a set screw, fell out? I got you. You know, it's that camaraderie that really makes the crawling scene, in my opinion, the best out of all the RC elements that are out there. When will we get more 24 millimeter hex adapters? At this time, again, we're waiting on a big order, so hopefully any day now we'll be able to get some, keeping my fingers crossed as well. If you are inquiring about any parts on this feed, please do me a favor. Go to our website at www.redcatracing.com. Find the product you're looking for. There is a notify me link on that product. We'll email you as soon as they hit our board. So as soon as we scan them in, you'll get an email so that you can order yours right away. Jesse, what do I suggest for a beginner? Man, that's a great question, brother. In my opinion, the Gen 8 is a great beginner platform for anyone that wants to get into the crawling scene. Everest 10 would be my first timer type of rig. Definitely something more for the kids, in my opinion. This will definitely be enjoyable for kids and adults of all ages. So keep that in mind. It is modifiable. I believe you can also change the wheelbase on these bad boys, and there is a plethora of things that you guys can do to these things. Upgrade servos, upgrade motors, you can get more wheel speed. The Axe Edition has been my favorite one so far because it comes with a higher kilovolt brushless system, really smooth, no cogging, and the wheel speed when you need it. So all of those things combined into one makes it a real awesome stout truck out of the box. All right, so again, why replace the axles? Why beef it up? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. One of the main reasons is as you are using your truck and having fun with it, things wear and tear. Plastic, in my opinion, slides better on rocks than aluminum does. Over time, though, as the aluminum wears and gouges get created, it could cause a hang-up to cause against a rock. So keep that in mind as you guys use them and utilize them. Jacob, man, right? The Axe Edition, it's a beast. It's honestly my favorite truck that we offer, hands down. The Axe Edition is it. Definitely worth the buck, in my opinion. So let's open this package up. And inside of this package, you'll get your Treal sticker kit, right? No big deal. You might want to slap some on if you're one of those kinds of guys that likes just to sticker everything up. That's all you. The Treal housing itself. I love opening stuff up with you guys. This is like the funnest part ever. It's like fat boy at a candy store, man. I'm just having a good time. So here you go. Here are the housings themselves. They do come with a red anodized diff cover as well. If you opt to upgrade to the brass diff covers, you just take this off and slap on the brass ones, and that'll add even more weight. Again, compared to the plastic ones, I would say the aluminum ones are probably not super heavier, but they do carry some more weight in comparison to a plastic housing. You will also have some screws that'll come with it, and those screws will be necessary for the rebuilding of this bad boy. So, right, hey, the Treal stuff is cool, man. I love the Treal stuff. I've been a fan of Treal since they come out. They seem to listen to a lot of the masses. They seem to cater to everyone, which is what I want. You want to see that. I love to see more support from other manufacturers for all of our products. That would be ideal. I think anytime that you have the aftermarket support by anyone for a manufactured vehicle, just really expands on what people can do with them. But take into consideration, there were days where crawlers weren't really a thing, and people would actually grab parts from different manufacturers and create their own crawlers. And that was where, in my opinion, crawling really grassrooted from, right? And so now you have all these manufacturers that offer you different kinds of platforms, and they all act differently, they all behave differently, they all crawl differently. Find the one that fits you. If you are a Redcat fan, definitely Gen 8, Gen 8 Axe, if you can afford it, would definitely be my go-to. So keep that in mind. All right. So I'm going to swap over, really quickly. So what I already did, guys, is I already went ahead and have a set of axles that I took off of another Gen 8 to help speed up the process, because we only have an hour in the show, so that we can get these swapped out and show you guys what it takes to do it. So if you wanted to realize or figure out how these bad boys come off, not too difficult. You have your two lower links and your two upper links. You have 1, 2, 3 screws that come off and your links come out. Take your wheels off and your hexes come off, and then you just have to remove the bolts that hold on your lower cups for your shocks. And then after that, all you do is remove your drive shaft, which should be a 1.5 millimeter hex, and the axle's out. That simple. Same thing goes for the front. 3 screws for your links, the shock bolts, and then you have your links, which I will remove on the ones that I have here for you guys as well. So let's change screens really quick. I know you guys would like to see my face, but let's swap it over so you guys can actually see me working. I'm sorry, I'm in a goofy mood today. It's a good day. It's a great positive vibe. Everyone here is having a good time, and I hope you guys are too. So much love. Thank you guys for showing up today. All right, here we go. So here are the two axle housings, and they're complete. They're completely built. Literally, I just took them off of a truck that I had on the shelf to just speed up the process to get you guys taken care of. Oops, let me see if I can maneuver. There we go. Okay. This is going to be your diff housing, right? As we mentioned before. You're going to have some screws to go around 1.5 millimeters. For this type of job that we're going to do, you're going to need two things. You're going to need a 1.5 millimeter hex as well as a 2 millimeter hex. I love using MIP. I also have this awesome new setup that I scored from Reassembling RC that comes with everything you need underneath. So again, we're ready to rock and roll. Because I'm speeding things up, I am going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use a pneumatic tool. I do not recommend you guys use these to put things back together. For tearing apart, it's okay, but just not for reassembly. It carries way too much torque, and you're just going to end up stripping and breaking things. Well, the Gen 7, no, they are actually different axles, Rich. Even the Gen 8 V1 compared to the Gen 8 V2 are different. The Gen 8 V1 will actually carry a ball end right here where the shock snaps on. That was eliminated, and we added these ears here and here to allow the shock to sit in the middle of these two crowns. So, grabbing my 2 millimeter hex, we're going to start with the rear. You know what? Yeah, let's start with the rear. So, let me double check one thing. Yep. I don't need my 2 for the rear. I just need my 1.5 millimeter for the rear. And I'm just going to remove the portal covers. Correct, sir, the Everest 10. I believe they share the same axles, but I do know that when it comes to the V1 and the V2 of the Gen 8, the axles are slightly different on the housings. And of course, one of the guys brought me a dead one, so we're gonna go old school with it. Not a big deal. How are you guys doing out there today, though, man? You guys, I know I got some crawlers on the scene here. Tell me a little bit about you guys' crawling adventures, man. You guys get out this last weekend? You guys have a good time? What's been on the books for you guys? I know that I'm completely overdue for getting out and crawling a little bit. Tony Gutierrez, ¿qué pasó, mano? Hopefully you're having a good Wednesday, bro. You're the man, Richie. You're the man. Richie's saved the day. He's going to swap out a battery for me. All right. So now that I went ahead and removed those screws around the portal housing, I'm going to go ahead and just take the cap off. Set that off to the side. Usually what I have to do is get some pliers to grab the shaft and take it out. Inside of the portal itself, you can see the gears, right? So what comes out of the differential itself goes, the shaft goes into the top one, spins that one, which spins the bottom gear, and that bottom gear is what your wheel bolts onto. All right, so let's get these out of the way. Okay, I got power again, so let's go back in there. Once you remove the portal outer housing, you're going to want to remove the actual 3 screws that are on the inside. Oh, that has a lot more power. Let's turn that down. These are going to be a lot longer screws on these 3. Oh, thank you, Matt, for answering that. Good call. You know, we need to get Matt back in here again. I love Matt answering questions for everyone. All right, got those 3 loose, then I can remove. Ooh, got spin that one out a little bit more. There we go. Remove those 3 screws, which you see right there. We'll put those off to the side. And there's your housing. Now, we're not going to remove the bearing out of this one because we're going to reuse these. So we'll put that off to the side, again, as mentioned, and then we'll start the same process on the opposite side. So I'm glad we're able to kind of do a lot of different stuff with you guys and kind of change it up from the lowrider scene a little bit to start doing some more Gen 8 stuff. And my goal here is to highlight this Gen 8 that we're building with all of these parts, almost like in a series. One of the things we're going to do with this Gen 8 as well at some point is replace the transmission gears with the heavy-duty CNC gears that we offer, as well as the aluminum housings. Jacob, you haven't been out crawling in a while, huh? Dude, I get it, bro. I'm like so overdue for getting out and crawling. Again, same thing, guys. Keep in mind that these axles are offset. So as you guys can see, there's a difference in length between the 2. There will be a right side and a left side. It'll be pretty easy to tell. If you hold the axle, you guys can physically see, there we go, that one side is shorter than the other side is longer, right? to access the 3 screws that hold the portal housing to the axle housing itself, there is a bearing that needs to come out. Sometimes a good flathead screwdriver works. I just use whatever I have, which will work. Just don't damage the bearing. Now we can remove the 3 screws again on this side. That I know of, no dig at this time, but it has been something that we've humored and played with and talked about in the past. So who knows? It might be dope to see some dig action. A lot of other manufacturers are doing it. It'd be kind of cool, I think, or at least offer a kit for it. That would be awesome. Tony's going out this weekend. That's what's up, bro. Like I said, I'm overdue. I need to get out. I really do. This whole COVID thing has got me like lost in time. All right. So now we have the housing itself. Now we need to remove the ring and pinion that is actually inside of here. Again, we're going to use the 1.5 millimeter driver to remove those as well. And as I mentioned before, guys, do not use a pneumatic tool to reinstall any of these screws. Oh yeah, no, Tony, they're mad at me. I'm telling you. They're like, bro, did you just really just yank that out? Yep, sure did. Again, there's always a method to my madness, and when you've done enough of them, you know how to remove them without damaging them. But for those guys that are out there, like I said, take your time when you remove those bearings. Don't go out there and just stick something in there and pull them out. Odds are you could damage the seal on the bearing itself, and they just never really spin really well after that. No, I'm not doing ODs on these yet, but I will highlight the overdrive kit for them when we get them back in stock as well. So I do plan on going over overdrive and underdrive so that you guys can understand how that works and how it can be beneficial to you and your style of crawling if that's you. So there's your diff cover, it comes out. There's your ring, pinion, right there. All right. Now the housing is empty, with the exception of what's left, which is one bearing right there. So let's take out that bearing. There we go. The only other thing we need to swap from this housing will be the actual mounts for the links. So what I like to do is move this stuff out of the way here. Look at your housings themselves. Line up the long side with the long side, short side with the short side, and then I can start removing these screws so I know what position they go back on. All right. Santos, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? All right. So this will be facing down. We'll go ahead and reinstall this bad boy. So, I mean, like all this stuff, guys, it's pretty easygoing stuff. Nothing too crazy. It's all doable. Just like I always tell everyone, invest in a good set of tools. They go a long way. The mounts for the links will be 2 millimeter screws. I did, Aaron. I got a lot of sun. I spent Monday filming some cool stuff, and I hope to share with you guys at some point. And I did. I got a little bit more sun than I bargained for. So now I'm going to take the other lower link mount off to transfer it to this housing. How many people use? I do, man. I love using my stickers on mine. It's kind of like my fail safe. Yeah, no, Tony, no nudes. All right. So now I've transferred over the two link mounts onto the Treal housing. Now what we need to do is remove the Treal housing diff cover. I would definitely reuse these because these looks like they're, I don't know if you guys can see it, but they're countersunk a little bit. Come on, focus. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're definitely, they look different than the ones that come on the factory plastic housings. What kind of mods do you guys like doing to your guys' stuff, man? Are you guys into the whole scale crawling scene? Are you guys into the comp crawling scene? Or do you guys just like to really just get out and have a good time and kind of just follow the leader when you crawl? One of my favorite pastimes is just meeting up with my buddies, my closest friends, and just hitting the trails, you know? Tony, you wanted a close-up of the diffs? These? Or you want a close-up of these bad boys? So, let me see. So at this point, we're going to reinstall the bearing in the actual housings themselves. Oh, is that not it? Oh, here we go. This one's it. All right, so we got the pinion back in there. We reinstalled the outer bearing and the inner bearing before we installed the pinion. We can put the ring back in. It only goes in one way. It's got the main opening, so it literally just falls right in, okay? At this point, I like to use a little bit of marine grease or even just a heavy duty grease. You don't need something ginormously heavy. I just like to make sure everything's lubed. And if you ever get any kind of moisture, if you do a little splashing around, then at least it's going to prevent it from rusting. So let's put the diff cover back on. And I'm just going to start these 1.5 millimeter screws. 1.5 millimeter hex. Tony, you look like a 2.2 tire type of guy. Oh, you like to do the stretch look, huh? Mall crawler? I've done that a few times. Most used tool on the trail. Aaron, that's a good question. For me, personally, and Aaron, let us know too what works for you. A 7, right? 7, always a 7. No, I think for me, it's always good to have like a multi-use nut driver. You guys see I have another one right here. They work great. Get you out of any bind. Also, any kind of pliers that you can fit in your pocket. A Leatherman always works good. And I always like to keep these bad boys around, right? 5.5 millimeter wrenches because they come in handy so much. So shout out to Crawford Cure. They always give these out with their events, which I love. I use Lucas Oil Red and Tacky because that makes a lot of sense, Jacob. You know, I don't really think there's a bad way of going with it, as long as you're making sure that everything is lubed and you're not overpacking it. You don't want any kind of pressure to be created when those gears are meshing together, which could eventually create slop or premature wear to your bearings. So yeah, so I got all those 6 screws back in for the diff cover itself. that is ready to start reassembling. Wheel pins are super hard to find. Yes, that's a great tip, Aaron. Hexes, wheel nuts, and I always carry a bunch of extra body pins because my kids like to chew on them or something. I don't know. They just eat through them like no tomorrow. Now we're going to get the outer portal housing and reinstall that. Okay. Remember, there's the 3 long screws. Zip ties is also a plus. So in my trail bag, I tend to carry a lot of stuff like that. In fact, did I bring my trail bag or did I leave it? Hold on one second, guys. Let me see. I did not bring it in here. Usually I have a trail bag that I always keep with me, and that trail bag has all of my tools in it. Inside of it, I always keep a couple extra hexes. I always keep some zip ties, body clips, different nut drivers, different sizes. Hex pins are huge as well. Always got to make sure you have some of those. These are not, I think these are just fixed. I don't think there's anything adjustable on these at all. But I do know the Gen 8 has a pretty decent turn radius out of the gate. All right. Remember, guys, it's just good and tight. Just snug them down. You don't need to over torque things down. Sometimes, in my opinion, when you're working with aluminum, if I was to put aluminum housings on aluminum, I would probably use just a little tiny drop of a Loctite blue. Not overdoing it, just a little bit, just enough to keep them from backing out. All right, so we got that one in. We can reinstall the bearing. There we go. Sorry, guys. What's funny is I'm talking to you guys, I have a camera right there, or a screen, and I'm trying to make sure that I can show you guys what I'm doing. So put the bearing back in, top and bottom are in, we're good to go. We can literally install this side already, and this side should be the short shaft. So let's put that bad boy in there. There we go. Your pre-assembled portal housing with gears. Oh, interesting. This one not it? Hold on. This one. There we go. Boom. All right. There it is. Now we can reinstall these screws that go around the outside. Again, all of this is, so far, it's been 1.5 millimeters. Use the hammer to put the bearing back in. Well, you know what's funny about that, Tony, is there was a time where a lot of people were buying metal housings from a set company, really high quality stuff, and they're great stuff, but I've always been kind of the guy that always finds, you know, the way to do things not full till or more on the, you know, I'm the king of Amazon builds. Let me just put it that way. And I ordered these alloy housings from someplace across seas, and the bearings where they fall in on the inside of the pinion were so tight that I literally had to sit there and clean up some of the paint on the inside surface in here to try and get the bearing to fit. It was such a pain. And I swore I would never use that product again. And I kind of realized, like, well, that's the difference between $300 set of axles and a $25 set of housings, right? All right. So I'm almost done with this side, and then we can move on to the other side of the reassembly. So now that one is assembled and ready to go. The only thing that will be left to do is install your hex pin, your hexes, and then the wheel would go on after that. The shock would fit between here and here, and there's one screw that would come in through to lock it in place. Your lower links will mount, let me see if I can get you a better angle. Here we go. Here. So you can either mount them to the lower point or the upper point. I think factory comes on top. And we do offer these in Treal as well, these link mounts. So going back to the opposite side, guys, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall the outer portal housing. Okay, and these are clocked only one way. It's a 3-way key, so they go on the same way like that. Once again, our long screws, 1.5 millimeters, will be used during the reassembly. Yeah, Tony, this would be the Treal axle housing. And we're going aluminum, removing the plastic one and swapping out to these aluminum ones. Remember, guys, there's 3 of these longer screws. And just work them in there. Once again, just good and tight, snug them down, no over torquing. You're going into aluminum, the last thing you want to do is strip something out at that point. Corey, part of the reason is the camo has been discontinued, brother. So whatever we have is what we have at this time. But I agree, man. It'd be kind of cool to see more stuff. Definitely make sure we ask the powers that be. Bearings are now back in. 3 screws are in. We're good to go. Let's start assembling this side as well. Shaft goes back in. All right. Portal with gears. All right, there we go. Bro, why are you hating on my workout? My forearm workout, bro. Oh, man. But, you know, this is like the stuff that I love doing. You know, when I'm stressed out, I'm having a hard time, dealing with a lot of, you know, family issues and life, just what life throws at you, all the curveballs. Something about just having some parts and just wrenching really just kind of recenters me. It really helps me relax quite a bit. So, yeah, I got big forearms because I like to wrench a lot. But Corey, as I mentioned before, brother, man, I'll be happy to let the powers that be know that you're looking for parts, and if there's anything that we can do in that fashion, we'll be happy to do so. It's a little hard to keep them in stock when they're discontinued, brother, but I understand your pain. And that just shows me that you enjoy your vehicle, and that's what matters most to me, is that you're out there having a good time with it. Right, Tony, man? It's relaxing, bro. It's a good time. I'm telling you, I'm all about just chill, vibes, RCing, Some of the best moments I've ever had in my life with friends has just been wrenching on a table. I used to have a pool table back when I lived in California, and it never got used. We used it as a workbench, and we would have wrenching session nights where we would literally just throw all of our trucks on the table and figure out who needed what, and everyone would dig into their personal stash of stuff to try and, you know, help each other out to get them to the next level so we can go crawling the next day. And that's what it's about, man. That's the camaraderie that I love so much. So as I mentioned, guys, when you end up you know, replacing these, as I mentioned, the shock mount is there. It will come with new screws, as you guys can see, for your lower shock mounts. There's the other side there, which we'll use again. And it will come with new hardware as well for the lower links to be bolted up. So keep that in mind. That is literally it. That is all you need to do. Where are we at? We're at, you know, 30, 40 minutes, and it's working. Everything's going good. And now you have a stout metal housing on your vehicle. I can tell you right now, the difference in weight is definitely enough to feel the difference between one and the other. This one having plastic housing, obviously will wear differently. It can be prone to breaking because it's plastic, while the aluminum ones are going to take a lot more of a beating, right? You guys can hear that? You guys can hear the plastic one. So, big difference, right? You end up, you know, in essence, putting a lot of wear and tear on these. This is the nature of the beast. One weak link that will happen now at this point as you use it, I feel, will be your lower link mounts. I've broken and snapped a few of these on various different vehicles that came with them in this fashion. It just happens. What I enjoy about what Redcat does and other manufacturers is they caught on and started making these link mounts replaceable as opposed to part of the housing. When you make them part of the housing, once they fail, you're out of luck. You have to replace the whole housing. So the fact that manufacturers allow you to replace them separately is super cool. And there's companies out there that make them as well that can become out of aluminum. I know the Treal ones I like because they're made of brass. So literally, guys, it's that simple. Just screws, patience, and just the know-how, and you can make it happen. I really like these Treal housings. They're going to look really good once they're underneath the truck, and I really look forward to just kind of building more off of it as we go along. So let's change screens. Because we're about 15 minutes away from being done, I'm not going to get to this one, but the exact same situation that you guys saw me replace this housing is going to go into this one. There's nothing different. The only difference is you have, well, there is something different. I'm lying to you guys. You're going to have to take off the front links. And in this situation, you just take off the upper and lower screws that hold the portal in place. And you can literally slide the whole shaft and everything right out with it. And then you can access those 3 screws, remove the plastic housing from the plastic portal knuckle from the housing, and then you can do the exact same swap over that we did. Take off the diff cover, swap it from one differential to the other, and so on and so on. So really easy to do, not a big deal. It took me a year to break my stock housings. That's when I went to Treal. Right, Jacob, man? They work great, bro, after the fact. But yeah, over time it happens, guys. You guys are going to have that happen. It's the nature of the beast. Obviously, no one wants to break parts right out of the gate. No one wants to break their truck right when you have it, right? But if you crawl, and trust me, I've been crawling for years. That's what I do most, right, is crawling. And I send my trucks. I pack 3,200 to 3,800 kilovolt brushless systems in mine. I like adding weight down low. I have a cheater truck, which is a G10 carbon fiber, G10 composite chassis with everything metal on underneath it to add that weight down low with the hard body. All the extra weight helps me compensate for my hard body. I have trucks that are more of a scale off-road truck feel that I love the way it looks. I love the bouncing effect of my truck just chugging its way up the hill and finding different challenges. That's the coolest part about crawling, in my opinion, is going out with a bunch of buddies, finding a line, you guys taking your time and see who can actually make it the cleanest, right? Sometimes I like to take cones out with me, set some gates up, and have a good time that way too. I love sometimes just waking up early in the morning and going up to the mountain, setting up some gates, and just filming my truck doing work. I'm a big geek when it comes to that, but that's what it's about, right? It's about you making your truck unique to you and making it work to the way you drive. And sometimes the way I drive requires me to have more weight, and there's other times where I don't want weight and I have other trucks that are super duper light. So find what works best for you and don't allow anyone to bash on you for it. Make it so that you're enjoying your hobby to the best of your ability. It's your hobby at the end of the day. It's not everyone else's. So you want to change your wheels and tires? Do that. You want to change your motor and electronics and servo at some point? Do that. Do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, your truck is an expression of what you are. So have fun with it, keep the rubber side down, and man, just enjoy the trails. I'm gonna check one more time, see if you guys got any other questions. My go-to controller, all right. My go-to controller, I kind of cheat a little bit because I have a bunch. I find a lot of the old Spectrum remotes that people tend to throw away that came with RTRs from other manufacturers, and I use those a lot because I don't care about them. I throw them around and I mess them up. But a few years ago, one of my really good friends was like, "Look, it's your birthday, bro. You need to upgrade your radio game. Like this is ridiculous. You can't keep having 5 or 6 remotes. You need one remote for your 3 or 4 or 5 trucks that you have." So I went with the Futaba FPV4. Love it. It has telemetry. The receivers are a little bit more pricier than your standard Spectrum stuff, but it awesome. The range I get out of it, the controllability that it has, hands down is amazing. I just wish it was waterproofed or splash proofed at least. Let's see. That's what's up, John. Man, enjoy this weekend, bro, man. Get out there, enjoy the trails, chill out, relax, and just enjoy, take in the scenery. Yes, wear and tear things need to be replaced. John, do I know much about the Wendigo? To be honest with you, I'm learning as much as I can about the Wendigo. I want to do a live build of a Wendigo kit as we go, almost like a series as well. We have a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to be highlighting in the near future with things that are going to be coming out and projects that we're working on. But I can't get there yet. So we're going to have to find things to keep you guys entertained and happy. So if you have suggestions like that on the Wendigo, if you want to see some stuff on the Wendigo and unboxing and maybe some maintenance work on that, let me know. I'm happy to do that. Always looking for ideas of what my community wants to see from us here at Redcat. Yeah, man, Futaba is great. It is, man. The price on the Futabas are ridiculous, man. It was a one and only time I actually decided to get myself something that pricey when it came to transmitter. But like anything else, man, it pays to play, right? You pay to play. So with that said, guys, I put a slower motor to crawl, it overheats. John, is it a brushless motor that you're going, or is it brushed? And I think for a Wendigo, if you're going to crawl with it, my opinion would be a 35 turn motor on 3S would be ideal, brushed. And if you go brushless, I would say at minimum a 2300 kilovolt system censored would be ideal for crawling. Depending on the gearing, you shouldn't have much overheating happening at that point, unless you're full throttle the whole time trying to get wheel speed. Brush and change the ESC as well. John, do me a favor, man. Send me a message afterwards, and I'll be happy to kind of go over some of those things with you and see if we can figure it out. It might just be something as simple as gearing. You may want to change your pinion on the motor that you're using. You may want to go to something that is a little bit less aggressive due to the fact that you're going brushed. You will create more heat if you have a smaller pinion on there and the Wendigo is a very zippy truck out of the box. So I think it comes with a pretty gnarly brushless system already. So if you're going to go crawling with it, you probably want to go with the slightly bigger pinion, which will actually help you a little bit more with overheating as well. Revolver 1800. I like the revolvers. They're noisy, but they're different. Let me look into that. I'll be happy to help you out with that, man. See if we can get you on the right in the right direction again. But man, it's coming to a wrap, guys. Again, in the description, you guys will find the description for these parts that I used today, the axle housings from Treal, which you can go ahead and purchase for your Gen 8 and enjoy, at your pleasure, at your leisure. Other than that, I appreciate all you guys that hung out, all you guys that keep coming back, and we appreciate as a whole, as a company, you and all of your support. Here at Redcat, we want to thrive to really kind of change the way we do things as a whole, and really try to give you guys, our community members, a better interactive experience. We want to be more approachable for you guys. So by all means, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help out any way I can. And if I can help answer any questions, please post them up on our main page. I look at those and I write those down so that I can try to get to them and come up with ways to be creative in bringing you guys the best of us. From here, all of us at Redcat, to all of you guys, much love. Be safe out there. Keep the hobby positive. Keep the smiles going. And don't forget to keep the rubber side down. So much love. You guys have a safe rest of your week.